Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the GEB America podcast. I'm your host, Dave Groves, the GM of GEB America. We're so thankful to have so many of you join us from all over the world on multiple platforms, people on pray.com, people on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And today we have a special show for you. I'm actually really looking forward to this because we have talked about artificial intelligence AI in the past, but we're kind of starting this into 2026 here. We wanted to talk about it with a guy that I consider to be kind of a little bit of a I don't know, guru. That word gets used too much, Jason, but
Yes.
and especially in our world. But Jason Fleagle joins us. Jason is a chief AI architect and digital transformation leader. He's worked with the likes of Cisco, AWS, and he's worked with a number of universities, Belmont, ORU, and also done work with a number of other companies that you would know of, Meta and others. And he is really taking this idea of AI and breaking it down, helping it not seem so scary, and saying to businesses, leaders, small and large, that you can utilize AI to really scale your business, make your business more efficient, all of that. So, Jason, welcome to the GEB podcast. The views and opinions expressed on this program are solely those of the speakers and not necessarily those of GEB America, Oral Roberts University, or their employees. This program is not intended to offer investment, financial, medical, legal, or any other advice. Viewers should consult a subject matter professional regarding any such matters.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, so much for the opportunity to be here. Really excited. And yeah, I'm really excited to dive into the topic too on AI and especially kind of the fear and concern around it. Because a lot of people are, they're in that spot of should we embrace this or hey, I'm too scared to even like talk with ChatGPT because it's going to take over the world. So yeah, very excited to be here and really looking forward to this conversation.
Well, let's jump right into it right off the top. And you mentioned it on the heels of what I said in the intro, and that is people are fearful of AI. They think of all the real crazy conspiracy ideas that it's going to become self-aware and become a robot army. But the truth is AI and the concept of machine learning and all that really is nothing new. Some of it is, and obviously with the speed of technology and the outcomes of a number of big companies like Cisco and NVIDIA and others, they have really kind of fast tracked so much of it. Talk a little bit about the idea that people are fearful of it and why they shouldn't.
Yeah, I think it's a really timely topic, especially with, I'd say the tail end of 2025 was really wrapping up a lot of kind of foundational elements for 2026 now that we're getting into this new year of what's going to be changing with what's called AI agents. So the last, 60, 70 years with AI, we had a lot of what was called artificial intelligence, which was like, machines, essentially computers kind of trying to mimic like how our brains work as humans. And then we get into machine learning, which are kind of not to get super technical or nerdy, Dave, but I love getting into the nerdy stuff. But essentially, machine learning is like more detailed processes of how computers are, again, kind of it's mimicking how our brains actually process information. So it gives now these computers the ability to kind of almost become autonomous. Now you had some manual kind of prompting there the last, 30, 40 years that we had to do. But now the last few years with what's called these large language models, and that gets into what's called Gen AI or generative AI, you actually have something that we call agents or AI agents that actually can act independently. So yeah, there is actually a lot of good reason to be fearful. And yeah, there's a lot of recent, I think, news articles that have come out. Even, one timely one was with Elon Musk's XAI and Grok. There was this big, like child image creation like fiasco that's been going on in Europe with data privacy that was just recently in the news. Like there are legitimate reasons for people to be fearful, but just through like any change throughout history, a lot of these innovative new technologies or things are also an opportunity. So there is just like using a shovel or using a hammer to build things, there is a right way to use that tool and a wrong way to use it. So I think it is important. And I recommend businesses, some of the largest companies I've worked with over the years to even startups, like approach it with a healthy caution, but always test and verify, the safety and security there.
Right.
There's a number of, kind of best practices, and happy to get into that, Dave, if, you want me to go in that direction. But
Yeah.
yeah, there is a lot of good reasons to be concerned. And even using tools like ChatGPT or Gemini, Google's chatbot or Claude from Anthropic, there are things that scammers are using now, doing things called, it's called prompt injections. But if you actually will make like a AI created image or something and use it, there are some scamming tools now that are using AI to actually steal your personal information, websites that you log into. So it is, yeah, a cause for concern. But again, just like some of those areas of concern, there is an opportunity to do that. And I just feel really honored and blessed to be kind of one of the good guys using,
Yeah.
leveraging these tools in positive ways, and then also teaching and enabling a lot of people how to do it, the right way.
So our listeners span across industries. We've got pastors and we've got business leaders, young and old. But everybody's being impacted every day by AI, whether we know it or not. Really, I mean, one of the ones that I saw the other day that's really fascinating is a lot of the handling for things with restaurants are being done that way with orders and with reservations and all that. Talk a little bit about what do you see here in the early part of 2026 that is maybe some things that people need to pay attention to that could help their business or their ministry when it comes to AI.
Yeah, I think the next big jump for people is moving beyond like just using a Chat GPT or like a Google Gemini or these chatbots and going into starting to use like agentic AI tools. And one of the most basic ones that's available today, a lot of people are somewhat familiar with it, or they might have watched like a YouTube video, but there's a tool called, or a platform called N8N that's like an automation tool that actually leverages some AI tools and models from like OpenAI with ChatGPT or Anthropic or Google, but you can actually use AI to start to automate your work, like even actually
Mm.
reviewing, your emails, your project management tasks for a day, giving you, report on what's been done. If you have a team or you're like a manager or upper level manager, you have those ability to process data and like automate those kind of tasks that you're doing on a daily basis. So instead of like ChatGPT, where you have to get on the keyboard or you're on your phone and typing it and manually
Hmm.
prompting it, now you can actually set up these reoccurring automations that are powered by AI to really optimize the work that you're doing. And that really, Dave, like a lot of businesses or even people just, they might be doing a job and they have a side hustle. There's ways now to leverage AI to really almost entirely automate the work that you're doing on the admin
Yeah.
tasks. I mean, I've built hundreds of AI agents at this point now for different companies, but even me personally, I mean, if you follow my LinkedIn, posts that I do, all of that is created by AI agents. I've spent a lot of time to actually create that and like process it and like the writing, tone, and style of my voice. But yeah, I have a team of AI agents actually that come up with the ideas for me based on my like top, engaged content, and then outline creator and actually full like content creation, and then tool that goes and repurposes it on the different platforms, website, YouTube channel. Yeah, there's ways like that that a lot of people don't realize AI can help do all of that. Now, again, that's positive, but you have to watch
Yeah,
it and be cautious
sure.
of it.
And I think we don't really realize how much of that goes on anyway. Little look behind the curtain here at GEB, we do all of our social media in house. We do all of our marketing, and one of the things that we've used AI for is like when we put together a podcast, it will go through and it will assess whether the title of the podcast is relevant, and it'll score it, and it'll say, well, this could perform well or not perform well. And it'll say, here are some suggestions and we can tweak from there. And it really does matter because you can see the difference in the number of people that engage with your video or your episode. And we want to
Sure.
reach as many people as possible, certainly.
Sure.
And so, that's one area. So let's talk about this too. So what about people that are in sales? Because I know sales, and that's probably what a lot of people are like, man, I want AI to help me get more leads, to get more business. I'm a small business. I don't have maybe the the funds to have an entire sales team, but man, we
Yes.
could sure use more, more activity and engagement.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of different opportunities on the sales side, but mostly on the sales side, what do most businesses need? They need leads. They need to generate conversations or get some customer signups. So one of the best ways I've seen is actually to do customer like ICP, the ideal customer profile. So actually using ChatGPT or some of these AI tools, you can put in, hey, this is my top, customer profile that I really like working with. Can you help me create like a document or a strategy to attract other like-minded leads here that I want to bring in for my business? So that's one piece, is like doing research there. If you take some of that data, you can actually use tools like Google Search Console to look at what are people searching for on Google for different search terms. You can use tools like the Google listings if you're kind of going after local businesses, or maybe if you're a home service business like roofing. I've worked with a lot of home service companies over the years, and that's always like, how do we target this zip code? Well, there's ways to use, ChatGPT plus Google Search Console, these Google listings to automate the search engine optimization. Like you're talking about titles for your YouTube videos, Dave. There's ways to do that for your page titles on your website to just
Yep.
bring in more traffic. Now, we've also applied it. I've had a number of digital marketing companies over the years. And with actually machine learning, we can do all of that research and understand, the ideal customer profile. We've actually done this for different universities who want to bring in actually new students, but we use AI to understand that profile and then put all of that data into the advertising platforms like
Yeah.
Google, Google Ads, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. All of that data is really, really rich. And now you can attract and engage the right leads that you want to come in. And then as a salesperson, the next stage is, we got to close them. We got to get them, converted and signed up. So I've done a number of projects actually, or it's kind of a low hanging fruit opportunity, I like to say, is use AI tools to like do your sales notes. So if you do a sales call, like do the transcript of that, but put that right into, the CRM that you're using to
Yeah.
track those leads. And then how do you, continue to serve them and serve them better for the future? So going from research to identifying that, doing the campaigns to get them, and then converting and managing that relationship, really with every stage of that sales journey, AI has a massive opportunity to add value.
What about ministries, nonprofits? Not for profits, whether it's a foundation or maybe a church or some other place of worship. What are some things that they can use in staying connected to their parishioners, their community?
Yeah, I think every church, no matter the size, it is a community. So using
Hmm.
AI to do just community management and messaging is a big area that I see that a lot in. And it's a area where AI can add a lot of value to. So everything from doing like your social media posting, coming up with ideas, to actually helping you write it, tweak it, edit it, come up with different hooks. There's a number of actually churches I've worked with over the years who wanted to have Chat GPT and OpenAI's tool. It's called a custom GPT, but they wanted to have, like essentially a private or more private Chat GPT tool that they could use to come up with their, social media copy and their regular weekly newsletter that they were doing for people at their church. So that's something, I think that could work really well for, content generation, content management there. But on the nonprofit space, there is a massive opportunity there to have your own private data. So I'm actually working with one of the largest nonprofits in the Austin area in Texas right now, and they have a database, I think, of 2,500 different resources on actually how they serve other nonprofits and ministries in that part of Texas. And they cover around 3,000 to 5,000, I think, nonprofits that they serve and ministries. So it's a lot. But they're like, hey, can we have an AI tool that understands all of those resources? And then we can just provide that to the nonprofits and they can go and chat with it, to get what they need to help grow and manage the ministry or the work that they're doing. So that's another really good example where AI
Yeah.
can, you have your own kind of private version of that. And some of these things are very sensitive topics, like women overcoming, addiction and drug recovery, for example, some of those conversations are very sensitive. So they wanted that
Sure.
to also be very private too. So that's another powerful way, yeah, that you can leverage AI with some private data and resources, for an organization there too. And I always caution people, when you're using ChatGPT or these other chatbots, just remember if you're on the free version or some of the like more middle paid plans, all of that data is being stored in their database. So they
Yep.
are managing that, they are seeing all of that, but there are ways from ministries or other groups, to have a private version. It just usually requires a little bit more technical expertise or a team to help set that up, but it is doable. Just depends on, yeah, the nature of the data that's being stored in those
Right.
conversations, of course.
Before we go any further, I do want to mention, and we'll mention this again at the end of the program, especially for those that are within the region. Of course, we are headquartered at Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma. On January 23rd, you're doing an AI workshop, and that is in conjunction with the Stovall Center for Entrepreneurship at Oral Roberts University and Dr. Schneider and those good folks over there. So you're actually having an event. It's like a 3-hour event on that date. In the show notes, I have a website. You can go and you can click on it and learn more about it. But talk a little bit about what can people expect if they're within driving distance and can come to that.
That's right. Yeah, well, first off, yeah, I would love to have anyone who's interested in coming, but I don't want people to feel left out too if they can't make this particular one. I know, Dave, we were talking, yeah, before we started the recording here, but I
Yeah,
want to do more actually in this area because I'm based here in Tulsa. So,
that's
I'm
right.
actually right down the road from Dave, there at the office in ORU in the studio there. So, yeah, I have my home base here, my whole family's here, and I want to do more in Tulsa. I find myself, traveling all over the world or on the coasts
Yeah,
here in the States because a lot of people are like, oh, we have the money or the resources, but the people in central United States feel sometimes left out. And I want to do more here and also help grow the city of Tulsa to be more innovative. So, yeah, this event upcoming here is what I like to call the Maximum AI Workshop. So, I've had the opportunity, again, feel really honored to have had the opportunity, but I've done these AI workshops for, like you mentioned, Dave, early on, Cisco, Amazon, Presidio, Worldwide Technology, NTT Data, some of the largest tech and business organizations in the world. One of the most recognizable telecom company and cell phone companies. I've done an AI project and a workshop for them, but I've kind of combined and condensed all the best resources on what do, startups, small businesses, and then all the way to mid-sized businesses, especially here in the central US. What do they need to know about AI for themselves
right.
as leaders, but also their team? And how can they leverage it to really save time, make more money, and then empower their people and their team and their customers that they're serving. So yeah, we have a very exciting time where we'll talk about AI, break it down, understand like what do you really need to know? What are
Yeah,
the kind of concerns or challenges? How do you put the right guardrails in
yeah,
place? And then the second half is literally just a brainstorm time. I am actually going to walk through with each of the attendees there for their business or their work. Here is the best low-hanging fruit opportunities for your work or your business. And then they're going to leave with the roadmap on how they can integrate, that into their organization. So it is really, I mean, yeah, it's very affordable. I tried to make it as affordable as possible, but if I had to put a value on it, I mean, it's very valuable. A lot
yeah,
of organizations, these big tech companies, they pay a lot of money to do this
yeah.
for their different teams. And I wanted to try to add value to people more at a lower starting point or a mid-level starting point because AI is definitely not going away. So that's really, yeah, this event is all around that and enabling people and leaders, to embrace this the right way and then give them that roadmap that's going to help them achieve success.
Well, and for those of you that might be seeing the GEB TV podcast show here before the event, more information is available at our social media pages. Of course, GEB America on Facebook and on Instagram, as well as what else are we on? Oh, we're on TikTok now. So there's information there. And then in the show notes down below, for those of you that might be commuting or you just can't write it down, there's a link down there to get to that more from Jason. Okay, so in the time we have left, I wanted you to talk a little bit about where you think things are headed I know you mentioned AI agents, and that's intriguing. I've seen a lot about that. I know people have used them. I myself have not, but I'm definitely spending more time learning and researching how AI can help us in not only what we do here at GEB, but also just in our own personal lives. So, talk about what do you see this year?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think the big next step is the AI agents. That's one of the biggest things that people are starting to embrace or ask. I'm using ChatGPT Enterprise or I'm using Microsoft Teams and Copilot, at our organization. How do we connect these like different chats with other parts of our sales team, our marketing team, our operations team? So that's where a lot of organizations are like investing or trying to figure out how do we put those, kind of aggregations, connections in place. That's really where AI agents are going to come into play. So I think for 2026, my opinion on that is we're going to start to get to the point where, with HR departments, that's human resources. But actually, HR is now going to be starting to be responsible for managing AI agents, your actual computer team members and teammates that organizations are going to have. Now, depending on, the company size, startup to like global, enterprise organization, a lot of the global enterprise organizations are starting to get to that point, but they are moving very slow. And I've
Yeah.
worked with a lot of them, and I can tell you, inside, yeah, they move slow. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but for like solopreneurs, startup organizations, ministries, there is a massive opportunity to start to embrace these AI agents and these tools, safely and securely. One of my favorites, actually, and it was just in the news recently, but it's Manus, Manus, for those who are looking or listening on audio. But that is a very basic AI agent tool. Was developed by a company based in Singapore, and Meta, Facebook organization, parent organization, just purchased Manus. So that is really where we're starting to get to, is not just using AI like a chat GPT or a chatbot, but this AI tool is actually connected to all of the other platforms and tools that you use, and it's going to help to automate and optimize your work. So I think that that's going to be a massive like coming change here for 2026, going into 2027. It's going to be, again, just an adoption phase there. The other piece, though, that a lot of people don't realize is there is what I kind of call like process optimization or like standard operating protocol. AI is forcing us to become better at that. And I've worked with a lot of these organizations and, again, very large telecom groups. You would think that they know, what they're doing and all, but in reality, people are people. And what slows down AI adoption is not the AI technology. It's actually the people and the teams behind it, and then the data that the AI tools have access to. So if you can optimize your processes and then organize clean and structured data, then feed it into AI, that's a massive like opportunity. And I think that's going to be a big change, is just this new process optimization for how do we optimize our people and our processes. And then the technology, that third component, really comes into play. It's already there, but that's what actually is holding a lot of AI adoption back, or the results for AI that organizations are really looking for. Businesses, I find, they want this AI tool, and yeah, we can build it. We can build anything, but we end up having to do a lot of work on the people and process optimization, the data modernization piece first, because that's actually going to dictate or determine the success of the AI project or whatever that tool is and that we're actually integrating. So those are the two like main ones. The third would be more on the technology piece. We're starting to get now into the point where what's called the large language models, these LLMs, and that's what ChatGPT, Gemini, all of these chatbots, they're powered by that. Well, we're starting now to get into CES, the Consumer Electronics Show just happened. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang just actually talked about a new chip that's coming out. So we're at the point where we actually have maxed out some of the capabilities of these large language models. We're not going to
Yeah.
be able to get much deeper kind of complexity there. But it's not the advancements in that model. What ends up happening is, Dave, how do you and me learn information? We go out in the world and we experience it.
Yeah.
So what's called reinforcement learning, where you actually have machines capable of like a Tesla self-driving car or some of these robots that we're seeing, they're actually developing new AI models that go out and experience your environment. That's going to be a huge next stage of the AI development. And think about that not just from robots or self-driving cars, but imagine having your chat GPT assistant or your AI agent that follows you everywhere and learns everything that you're doing. And that's scary. But also, if you are in control of that, you can determine this is my goal. I want to lose weight or I want to make more money. That is your AI companion that can help you automate that. And as you go through life, it's collecting all of that data and helping optimize your life for that. So there's a few projects actually I'm in talks with right now where they're developing using AI models in that capacity to do. And AI can do it. It's just requiring a new way of structuring that AI model. So those are the three main things that are like I'm starting to see or what's coming.
Yeah. What are some things that you envision that AI is going to do that we haven't even necessarily thought about? I know we've
Oh,
heard
okay.
about, and some of this is happening, like you pull up to a drive-through and it recognizes you, your car, whatever, and it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? Knows you by name. Would you like the same burger and fries you got last time? Could I suggest this? And it's, I think that's kind of like surface level. I
That's
mean,
right.
kind of a no-brainer. But what do you envision in 2027, 2030, 2035?
Yeah.
Where's this going? What do you think it's going to do that will change our lives for the better?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of actually, when you talk about or follow like the leaders of these AI frontier model companies like OpenAI or Anthropic, even Elon with XAI, I kind of fall more in the Elon Musk category, where Elon actually believes that AI can actually usher in a huge change in all of society and all of culture. But his opinion is on using these AI models to actually enable cultural and human flourishing. And that's where I'm at, where there are some founders, and I'll call them out because I'm very vocal about this. Sam Altman, with OpenAI, for example, he's also the founder of what's called WorldCoin. And I know, Dave, you're a fan, on the crypto side. I'm a big fan of crypto. I've actually got my Bitcoin poster right here.
Yeah, you
But,
do.
with the WorldCoin, his opinion is AI is going to disrupt everything, and we're going to need to have a universal basic income. And actually, AI is going to start to dictate your life. And I am not,
Yeah,
in agreement of that. And that's actually why I'm in AI, is I want to be a force for good in AI
yeah,
and actually help guide and develop these technologies to use it to help us as human beings. A lot of people don't realize, you mentioned TikTok, Dave, which you guys, GEB's on TikTok, which is awesome. But TikTok has been using machine learning, AI, for many years. And if you've ever been on there with your feed, it reinforces your behaviors, which is
hmm
a lot of times negative behavior. That's where I see AI being any like data that's being collected, any repeatable things that we do in our life. And all of us have routines that we do on a daily basis. AI is going to know all of that. So,
yeah,
would you rather use AI tools that are going to help reinforce positive behaviors, or do you want to use these AI tools that are going to reinforce negative behaviors?
yeah,
There's even technologies and tools that have come created and come about by studying casinos and how people actually become addicted to things. Now, that's scary because you can apply the same thing to
yeah.
AI models. You can actually reinforce some of these negative behaviors. That might be good for these particular businesses and their like profit goals, but that's
Right.
not good, for the individual. So I really see this massive change of AI is going to take access all this data about who we are, and then we are the deciders of how we, kind of steward that. Is this going to be a force for good, or is this going to be a force for evil? And I'm a big believer and I want more people to embrace AI and get into that camp of, no, we want to use this, for good in the right way.
Yeah,
I think that engagement of advertising, just our daily lives, we are going to see AI in all of it. Now, what that looks like, I can't say because literally every day You were
Bring those.
talking about, the drive-through experience. Yeah, with my one of my companies that I'm an AI architect on Stack, I do a lot of work with them. They worked with a very recognizable Mexican fast food chain, and you could probably guess who it is. But they, added in an AI-powered drive-through experience and also an optimized process there. Some people love that. Some people hate it. It's very
Yeah,
polarizing. But AI, that's a good example there because AI is going to be in absolutely everything that we
yeah,
do. I use AI hundreds, if not thousands of times every single day. And I have, yeah, AI
yeah,
agents that go out there and do
yeah.
work.
Well, and aren't you an AI agent? Am I really talking to the real Jason Fleagle?
I do have an AI avatar and some of my AI workshops. So yeah, I'll mention that. I'll try to have an AI avatar introduce me at this upcoming
Yeah, that's awesome. Can it
I
be a
usually
hologram? Can I get a hologram?
I want to do that. There are a number of companies I've actually worked with. So, Dave, I worked with the Zig Ziglar group out of Dallas, Texas, and Zig was a very amazing Christian leader, but also amazing thought leader, sales leader there too. But there was a company that developed a hologram technology to recreate Zig on stage. And it was amazing. And yeah, we're at the point now where you can take some of these AI avatars and combine that technology. And you're talking to an AI avatar. And there's those other box tech
Yeah,
company. You've probably seen it. Yeah, that
yeah.
you can talk and do video meetings. But yeah, there's AI avatars that are a part of that too.
Well, and I think you're right about the convenience. I mean, I personally think it's great if you can speed up the process, whether I'm ordering food or I'm buying something online that can, base it on my recent purchases and understands, kind of my one of the ideas I had, and I'm going to say this here, and somebody's going to steal it, but because it's probably in development. But one of the ideas I had, I thought AI would be really great for is you go, okay, this is for good, right? You
Mhm.
go to the gym. It's the beginning of 2026. So a lot of people are doing this, dieting and exercising. You go to the gym, you're wearing, I don't know, maybe it's your phone, or it's your glasses. I don't know. But the AI agent goes, oh no, you got one more set,
Yeah,
like 3 sets of 8, and you need to increase your weight 10 on this because you did 5 the price. Okay, and today we're working lower body, so this is the machine,
that's right.
and it like literally, and this is probably where a gym could do this. It's literally knows the gym and knows the equipment. It says,
That's
okay, you
right.
go, okay, now you do this, now you do this, now you do this. Now it's time to stretch and to cool down. I think that because we're already seeing that with apps where it guides you. I see guys
That's
in the
right.
gym, they're on their app, and they're like, oh, what do I do next? I think that is just going to make it that much easier
That's right.
for things that really do make your life better.
Exactly. So what you're talking about is like an AI accountability partner. And that's actually one of the like top of my list of things that I get asked for companies to help build a lot of the time is because they're going beyond this again, like a ChatGPT enterprise plan or a Microsoft Copilot, some of these basic AI tools, and they want this AI tool to start executing on things or saying, oh, you gave me this goal. No, this doesn't align with what you told me. I'm pushing back on you. Like checking in with you, that is a big next stage of, yeah, what people are starting to want. And there's going to be a lot of things coming out. There's, yeah, a number of healthcare organizations actually. You were talking with Belmont University. Yeah, shout out to Belmont University, awesome Christian university in Nashville, but they also have a medical school and this healthcare innovation organization that they are trying to use AI and machine learning to literally change healthcare for good, to exactly what you just described, Dave, which was like have an accountability partner that says, no, you told me your goal is to lose weight.
Hmm.
This is what we're going to do, and this is the plan that we've created based on your lifestyle, dietary restrictions, things like that, but it will help you accomplish those goals. That is, yeah, the level of what we're getting to now with AI. But again, I've really cautioned people that's going to be a good example, but there are a lot of these other negative
Yeah.
examples. I get approached by, unfortunately, a lot of organizations that want, NSFW, all these bad things where AI can be applied there. That's going to continue and going to get a lot worse. But again, as a proponent of using AI for good, we should hold ourselves accountable. And I think that's one of the biggest side effects of actually AI acceleration and a lot of this hype is it is forcing us to go back to character and morality conversations. Like, is this machine actually sentient? Is it capable? Like, what is morality? Who gets to tell us what is right and what is wrong? And I think that is a good opportunity for, Christians or other people who
Yeah,
believe in doing the right thing to jump in and say, no, I don't agree with AI, doing this, or again, like exploiting children, things like that. This is a big opportunity for those of us who have character and integrity to say,
that's
no,
right.
this is wrong. Let's go ahead and develop these tools, for good to help people.
Well, and I think so too, is that, as Christians, it gives us an opportunity to, you know, they always used to say, and I've heard pastors preach it, they'll be like, well, if you fudge on your taxes, that's wrong. Oh, it's just a little thing. No, look, if you use AI in an unethical way, well, God says, he didn't say in the Bible anything about AI, but it certainly talks about deception and
That's right.
lying. And, it's just like the internet, using the internet for the good. It's amoral. It's either good or bad. It's how you use it, right?
That's right.
Television was dogged in the
That's right.
40s and 50s when it came out. It was going to be the end of society. How many millions upon millions of people have been reached with the gospel? The printing press. People were killed for
That's right.
printing the Bible in native languages or in different languages. I mean, we know all the stories. And for those of you that don't, so many early church leaders were killed for translating the Bible so that people would know it, and the printing press was seen as, a print. My point being, it's about how you use it. It can be something that helps you personally. One of our good partners, GEB America, is pray.com. We love those guys, and they use a ton of AI that helps you. It helps curate the different messages and the different prayer devotions that you receive through their app. Wonderful use of AI.
That's right.
And I think that that's where Christians need to spend more time looking at, okay, how can I leverage this for good for my business, to better my
Excellent.
family, provide for my kids and my family. So that's
That's
one of the
right.
biggest reasons I wanted to have you come on, was to just talk about, not only the stigma, but let's talk about the positives
That's
that
right.
are on the horizon with artificial intelligence,
That's right.
and realize that it's just like so many other technological advancements. It's here,
That's right.
and we're
Yeah,
using it.
I always love that quote, Dave, from Henry Ford when he said, if I asked people what they wanted, they would have just said faster horses. So this is an opportunity for us not to create faster horses or train faster horses, but there are tools. And I go back to, what even my personal calling, I'll mention this, I just have such a strong connection to Moses's story where God told Moses, what do you have in your hands? And through it, I will work my miracles. And that was the staff and, a lot of the ministry here. For those of us in our work, God has placed us in a position of leadership, and you might not have a CEO title or a VP title, but you are in a leadership position, even if you're just doing like an entry level position. Now, ask yourself, what do you have in your hands? How can I
Yeah.
leverage AI to potentially do more of the work that I'm doing? Or if you're in ministry, how can I use AI to do more of that? And I love, a lot of these Christian groups are looking at AI to just do like voice translation. That's amazing. So important. But now at this point, it's like, don't just use AI to do another voice translation or like another Bible app. Think about, look at what the Paul and the tent makers did for a lot of the early church. They weren't just focused in what quote unquote ministry. They were out doing tent maker work, and that's a big calling on my life is, developing businesses and working with businesses to help develop them to be more successful. I get to share Jesus with so many, people, secular people who I wouldn't have even interacted with them unless I was doing, the work that I'm doing. And
Yeah.
usually they're like, what's so different about you? What is this? And I get to, yeah, share, well, hey, I'm a follower of Jesus and I love innovation. And I believe my gift of innovation and like coming up with these ideas with AI is a gift from God. And
Yeah.
you talked about, Dave, the Christian leaders, so many Christian leaders from history they were the pioneers. They were the
Yeah.
scientists, the business leaders for somewhere along the way, last 100 years, a little over 100 years, the church and Christians have lost that. We are God-breathed creators to go out and
Right.
leverage that. And I'm hoping with AI, more Christians are starting to see, whoa, this is an amazing tool to leverage, not just for me and the work I'm doing, but also, to help have a positive impact on the world.
So use what's in your hand. So good.
That's right.
So good. Jason, I want to thank you for coming on the program. For those that want to get in touch with you, social media handles, where can they find you? Where can they interact with one of your AI agents?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. My personal website is just thejasonfleagle.com. And yeah, we'll probably link that down below, Dave. And
Yes.
then I'm very active on LinkedIn. I actually have a newsletter, free newsletter called AI Pathfinder. So I actually try to, it's usually once a day, sometimes more than a day, depending on what's happening with AI news. But I'll write an article, what's happening with NVIDIA or ChatGPT, or what do you need to know about AI as a business owner or people in business, or I do a lot in the nonprofit space. So yeah, check me out on LinkedIn. Those are the two best places. And then I'm, on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. Hopefully want to do more of that, yeah, for 2026. So we'll see, what that's going to look like. But yeah, a lot on YouTube as well. And I have a lot of AI tutorials there too on how to use, you were asking Dave earlier on using AI for sales. Have a lot of really good resources on AI for marketing, growth, sales, and they're all free, tutorials on my YouTube channel. And I have a book coming, yeah, this year, hopefully going to be published very soon in print called The Ultimate AI Blueprint. So yeah, I'll be able to share more and hopefully
Yeah.
promote that more soon with the GEB audience there too, Dave.
So for those of you that are watching or can't access the show notes, thejasonfleagle.com, and Fleagle is spelled Fleagle.
Yes,
At
thank you.
thejasonfleagle.com. And then there's a link below also if you're interested in the AI workshop in Tulsa, Oklahoma on January 23rd at Oral Roberts University at the Global Learning Center. Beautiful Global Learning Center. If you have never been to ORU or you live in the region, you haven't been here in a while, a beautiful campus. Of course, innovation has been in the DNA of Oral Roberts University since its inception, way back in the early 60s. And been on the cutting edge in a number of areas. And so we're excited that you're going to be here for the AI workshop working with the Stovall Center for Entrepreneurship. And we look forward to that. And there's a link below. You can find out more information on it as well. And again, Jason, thank you for being here. We look forward to having you back in the future, and all the best on your endeavors in 2026. And I want to thank you for joining us on the GEB America podcast. Don't forget to share, like, go on YouTube, hit the bell. We drop a new episode every single Tuesday. And until next time, I'm Dave Gross saying goodbye for now.
Thank you.